I don't think we talk enough about the friendship fallout, the silent grief. Some people need you to stay small, to stay overwhelmed, or to stay dependent on them in order to feel comfortable. There are people who benefited from my broken state, and there were people who benefited from me being at my worst. And even if they were willing to continue the friendship, I needed to end the friendship. When I tell you that is a plot twist, when you think you're just divorcing one person, but you realize you've got to divorce an entire mindset and anyone and anything connected to that mindset. Sometimes it's tempting to hold tight to what is familiar and what you feel like you have left, only to find that what you may have left, you don't need to hold on to either. And the third thing, and this one is a sort of, let me sit down and hold your hand while I say it, right? Okay, because this one isn't about the wrong people trying to stay in your space. This one's about us, right? And this is what I've learned. Not everyone has the capacity to support you through the transition of your life, right? For some of us, we have baggage that is only truck sized and your friend has a convertible, okay? And ain't nothing wrong with, nobody's at fault, right? No one's at fault. Because some friendships were not built for depth. They were not built to go deep. They were not built to be by your side in that way. They were not built to be close. That is just not the nature of that friendship. They were built for convenience. They were built for proximity. They were built for industry. They were built for certain experiences, and that's okay too. That's a category, right? These friendship categories, but recognize that, seasonal friends have to expire on time, and it doesn't make them villains and it doesn't make you unlovable. I really, really want us to hold on to that, because I think that on social media, I think that in movies, I think that in narratives and books and society, because of storytelling and because of how we're ingrained to believe, right down to Disney, we believe that there has to be a villain and there has to be something that makes them unlovable, right? Because it's easier for us to understand why something didn't work or why someone isn't doing what we want them to do. We need a motive. We need motivations. And I want you to know that it is possible for two things to be very true. In my marriage, it was death by 1,000 tiny cuts. We've talked about this, right? In my previous marriage, it wasn't some big singular villainous act. Now, obviously, most people reach a final straw, a thing where they're kind of like, and I'm done, right? Not uncommon. But make no mistake, it's rarely that one person is to blame and that no one had anything to do with it. If you ever hear a narrative from anyone coming out of a divorce, no, let me actually just cushion that, because there are situations of like abuse, domestic violence, things like that, right? So we're setting that aside, common sense, you guys know, but I'm talking about just your traditional, we're different people, different values, we've grown and changed, right? It is very rare. If you ever hear someone saying, that person's a villain, they did this, she was that, she was this, she was that, then trust and believe they lying, okay? They are lying. And if anything, they're telling on themselves that they don't do the work. And you can definitely believe that maybe whatever you think is, or whatever they're stipulating to be who's at fault is probably a little less what you think, because that's just not how that works. And so the fact that you may have some friendships, and some relationships that are tangential to the marriage, and they're starting to expire as you are exiting and changing, or tangential to the business or tangential to the, fitness career, whatever you're doing. If you start seeing those kind of timing out, recognize that you don't even need to label them as a villain. You don't need to have a big, messy friendship breakup. You don't need to blow it all up. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Just let it go. And it doesn't have to mean anything about you. Divorces make people confront their own relationships, their fears, their regrets, and because of that, some things need to expire. And you may have a lot of needs, and some people may fall off because they just can't deal with you. And that's something that I'm a lot. I know I'm a lot. One of the criticisms that I receive on the internet is that I'm a lot. Like, girl, you talk a lot. You're very high energy. You do the most. Like, everything about you so big, blah, blah, blah. I'm okay with being a lot, because if I'm too much, people can go find less. There's literally no lack of less in the world. So if I'm too much, there is a multitude, an abundance of mediocrity. You know what I mean? So like, people can, you don't have to look for that. You know what I mean? So I'm aware that I'm a lot. I know I'm a lot. And in that knowingness of a lot, I also recognize that even when I go through my breakups, I say that like I've had a lot. One, that there's amplification moments is kind of what my life is like with my breakups, where I'll be good because I am so strong, because I am so independent, because I am so, little t traumatized around I can do it myself, and I know some of y'all are like, me, right? So because I am like that, I already know that I can be okay, and that's how it was for months and months and months. I was fine. And then I have an amplification moment where I call my friend and I'm like, I'm falling apart. I don't know what to do. I need help. Like that's, and it's big, and I have a near dear, very solid, good friend group that gets that, and they get that partly because they're a lot too. They just live a big life. They do big things. They are highly accomplished, very successful women. And they all get it. They get it. My husband loves me because I'm a lot. He doesn't want less. He doesn't want to see me be less. He wants me to be more, and when I tell you, you find the people that get that, and they show up and they're there. Now, granted, I will say, just like kind of tiny pinpoint caveat, you do have to be careful when you're going through divorce, because also you'll find people who do latch on and are able to see the season you're in and try to turn that into something for their benefit. Just be careful. There are people who prey on women in their dark season. And I had a couple of those, like new people when I first got to LA that absolutely were choosing to prey on my tough season, but what's great is when you get out of previous relationships, you start to recognize attributes, of those behaviors very quickly, and you can cut them out. So, and the same thing will happen where you may see existing relationships start to modify into ways where they can prey on you or try to either benefit from you or warp your perception of self, or try to affirm certain things that are the hardest experiences that you have, or some of the worst things you think about yourself, just because that is beneficial to them. Just like I'm saying right now, they like, oh my gosh, she's getting divorced. She seems to be getting really strong in her belief system around her appearance, or in her belief system around her work, and if she really believes that she's a very good teacher or money manager or professional speaker, then she may not need me anymore. So let me affirm her insecurity around, I'm going through a divorce. Will I make it? Let me affirm that right now, because if I affirm that, then I will still have a place in her life. Like that will happen, where you'll have, well, I pray it doesn't for you, but that could happen. And the best advice I have on that little tidbit is, if you're in a season of vulnerable change, even as a new business owner, where you're like, I need help, I need loans, I try to figure stuff out, so you don't get preyed upon, just listen to your gut. And I know that sounds crazy, but the same gut that led you out of whatever season you were in, where you were like, the old life is not good enough for me, and you listened to it and you were bold enough to take that leap, I need you to just keep listening to that gut, because no one has ever said, I listened to my intuition, I minded my discernment, and boy, do I regret that. That was the worst thing I could have ever done. I cannot believe I actually had the nerves, the audacity to believe in myself. And the outcome of that was that this was horrible. It literally never happens. Never happens. So just know that if the only thing you listen to is yourself, you will not hate yourself later. So absolutely do that, and then if you can, and you do have a rock solid friendship outside of the one that may be presenting itself as unusual, tap that person. When I was going through my dating with my now husband, I think I've shared this before, but if not, I'll share it now in, a transparent place. But I took him on like a checking tour, if you will, because I did not trust my picker. I hadn't had a ton of relationships before I met my ex-husband. And the fact that I was in that relationship with my ex for over a decade, and it was just so not right for me, and I knew it wasn't right for me from a year out, and I still allowed my picker to just continuously say, never mind, just ignore that sign, just stay in it. I was terrified that when I met this guy who was so loving and so compassionate and so thoughtful and so kind, I was like, he's just a little bit too much. Like, what's his angle? Like, is there something? And even though I was like, I'm not seeing anything, but I don't know, you know what I mean? Or am I like so deluded that I just want to be loved so damn bad that the first guy who seems like he's a nice guy, I'm just like all in? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, these are just real thoughts that I was having. I was like, I don't want to be that rebound sucker or that cougar divorcee who's like, oh, he's just really hot and the sex is good, so it's whatever. You know what I mean? So I took him on a tour. I literally was like, hey, I have my like handful of really good friends, and in order, mind you. He met the friends that are like my besties, but he didn't meet like the sibling, right? Like it was my girl group of besties. If you couldn't make it through them, you weren't going, do not pass go, do not collect $200, right? So he met them quick. I would say probably within 6 weeks, where I was like, hey, this is someone I'm dating and I'm feeling for real about. I need you to meet him. Met them first. Then after that, he met like, she's basically like my sister, like my best friend. Y'all have never seen her on the internet. You guys don't even know she exists. But if you read the book, you know about Gail. But she is truly like, she has mothered me. She has loved me. She is everything. And I had him meet her. And she was like, this is good. She knew, like, she was like, this is good. And then I also had to meet my like bio sister, my biological sister, and after that, then I was like, okay, now you can meet my parents. Met the kids and then met my parents. And that was like all over the course of a year plus, you know what I mean? Like, as a relationship entered new stages. But that's what I mean when I say, if there are people you can trust in your new season of self, people that have either made the cut or people who are there to support the new and have proven themselves through consistency, then allow them to help you support your gut. So these people were also supporting my gut. They weren't here to provide debate style discourse. I didn't know to go back and forth. Is it right? Is it not? I don't need people who are going to make me more confused. I need to know, like, this is what my gut is saying. Tell me if you see something otherwise, or tell me if it makes sense. And they were right, because he's my husband now. So, I can't emphasize enough that not everyone has the capacity to support you, but the people that do, hold on tight. And the ones that want to go, let them go. Let them go. It's okay. You haven't even met all the people that are going to love you in your life. You haven't even met them all. There's more. There are people who you haven't even crossed paths with that you're going to be their favorite person. So let them go. So I want you to just take this reframe from this conversation. Instead of saying to yourself in this season where it can feel like just all the goodness is wrapped in loss, whether it is around your body or your business or your marriage or your children or whatever else, when you're dealing with transition, no matter what, you're going to lose an old version, right? And instead of saying I'm losing people during these friendships, support people, whatever, I just want you to think of it as making space for what is aligned for the next chapter. That's what you're doing. You have to create space, because you also only have some capacity, right? And who you are and who you're becoming deserves companions that see your power today and not your past. And I really want you to hold on to that. I really want you to know that the person you are now just deserves all of that. And even the person you are now, as you are working and walking towards the person you want to be, that journey, I just want whoever is in the room when you reach that goal, just celebrating you with the most authentic joy. There is someone who came to my wedding, my most recent wedding with my current husband, who I'm no longer friends with, and when I tell you, when I went through that guest list with a fine-tooth comb, because I was saying to myself, I do not want a single person in that room to not be someone that I believe in the moment is just love, right? That's all I want. I want someone celebrating on all levels. And one of those people, over the past year, it just became very evident I don't know the rationale why, because they're clearly going through some things, but just became really evident that they were like unwell, that there were also elements of their life that were just like not true, just like, again, things changed. And, I say all the time, thank God for the revelation, because I also know what I have coming. And I'm so thankful specifically because of the type of person this person had shown themselves to be. And also like, when I look at numbers and things like it's, once the facts were revealed, I was like, oh my God, thank God this person wasn't around me, because they could have fleeced me blind. You know what I mean? Like, thank God this person's not around me, because it could have been bad, bad, bad. And when I tell you, that's what I want you to have rooms like your wedding, or to your next, I'm calling over your life, to your next man, or partner, I want you to have a room that feels like love, where you look around and you look into that audience and you are celebrating and you see nothing but faces that are smiling back at you with nothing negative behind that smile. And if you don't feel confident that that person could be in that room and be that thing, at least in that moment, it's okay if they're not there anymore. That's okay. Because who you are becoming deserves companions that see your power and not your past. So here's your little tip. Here's how we're going to work it through. Here's the action item. I want you to do a New Year alignment check, right? Like it's like kind of getting your tires aligned on your car, kind of cheesy. But I want you to ask yourself, the people that are in your life, and right, y'all, this is free. You can do this right now in your car while you're working out, just rolling through your brain. Because also, can we just have a very real moment about this? I know while we've been having this conversation, for some of you, in your head right now, a person. Like, I hate that for you, right? Like, so for some of you, it was a pop-up of, that is my girl, ride or die, no matter what. I know this person is good. And that is so exciting for me that was a no-brainer. That is amazing. But for some of you, you were like, I don't know about this person, or this person's acting like that. Like, I was literally describing them. You were like, Nicole, get out of my car, get out of my closet. You know my business. And I have to tell you, these two questions are what you need to use to assess everybody. The first one is, does this person champion my joy? Does this person champion my joy? Now, why is that question important? Because it's easy to find people who will champion your wins, your successes, your accomplishments, things that are standard check marks. Heck, I can find that for free on the internet. I can find that for free in a department store if I put on the right pair of jeans. Okay. Like, it is readily available to find people who will clap for you, around something that looks like a standard success. And I'm not minimizing that. You deserve that celebration, but recognize that life is not made up of a series of those type of wins. You need people around you. The people who are truly for you will just be happy because you're happy, because you found a moment. And I'm not saying without criticism, right? We don't need a bunch of yes people around us all the time, right? But you do want people that when you are in a state of joy, rather than just in a state of chaos, that are willing to celebrate the big and the small and aren't going to echo your own fears as an external party when they're already inside you. Like, you deserve that. And the next question is, do they celebrate my becoming? And celebrating your becoming isn't just about the finish line. It's, do they celebrate the transition and the change and the work to get there? Are they looking at you in the process and saying, girl, I saw you were at the gym 3 times this week. This is something I really try to elevate in my friends. One of the things that I say a lot towards the end of the year is, I just want you to know that I see like how much you've done this year. I see where you were last year and I see where you are this year. I even have people in my life. I just got a text coming in to have this chat with you all where, I was having one of those days because, postpartum, y'all, you know how it goes. It's a miracle I showered. And I had a text message from a friend who was like, I just want you to know, this time last year, you were 9 months pregnant, wrapping up your business and still working, flying out to go vote for Kamala Harris, dealing with a wildfire, and handling a marriage and other children. And I just want to let you know, you are doing so, so good and you've come such a long way and I'm so proud of you. Like, Y'all, I haven't done anything today. It's not like I haven't marked a big win or a celebration. My friend was literally celebrating me existing and then put it into a context of where I was and where I am and what I have become. You need that. You deserve that. You need people who will celebrate your becoming and champion your joy. And if you are using that alignment check, that assessment question, and the answer isn't a confident yes, then it is an intentional release. If it ain't a hell yes, it's a hell no, right? That's how that goes. And when I say release, I'm not saying go cuss people out now. Nicole did not tell you to do that. I'm not telling you to run around and go shut people down. What I am saying is be aware that if there are things that continue to reveal themselves as signs of where this is going, let them go. That intentional release is okay. Let them go. So, new year, new rule. If I can't be fully myself with you, then I won't be around you. It's that easy. I want you to know that the right people in your life, they don't disappear. They show up stronger. And things like divorce or your new fitness regimen, I see what you did with that waist, or your new job, come on income, come on employment, or you quitting your job, come on entrepreneurship, or having that baby, come on mama. It didn't break your community. It's supposed to help you build a healthier one, even if it has to change in the process. So friends, I just want you to know that you are so deeply deserving. And cheers to the new year, and cheers to becoming the best you.